in vectors, we have studied different types of vectors in the previous video, right? So now let's study about what are the operations that we can do in vectors. And one important operation that we can do in vector is same like numbers, we can do addition and subtraction. Multiplication is also there, but division is not there for the time being, okay? So when we talk about addition, in this session we will particularly look at what is addition and how is addition in vectors carried out, okay? So if I have two vectors, if I have a vector A represented like this is vector A, okay, and there is another vector B, okay, that is a co-initial vector. So you can see there is a vector B. So if I have two vectors like this, A and B, then if I enclose this whole thing by another line, will I get a triangle? Yes, because it is a triangle, because you can see that it is a three-sided closed figure, that is a triangle. Now look here, this A is going in which direction? This is the direction of A, this is where A is going, and this is the direction of B. Now if I put this as the direction of the new vector and if I name it as C, there is a new vector which is happening there, right? When you join A and B, or when you join the lines between the vectors A and B, then you get a new vector, that is C. I am putting it over here. Now look at the vectors which are having the same direction. Look at the vectors which are having the same direction. Can you see A is going here, and then after A, is it going in that same direction C? Yes. So you can see that A and C are moving in the same direction. But look at B, is B going in this direction? No, B is coming in the opposite direction, right? So whenever you have two vectors which are moving in the same direction, you can add these two vectors, that is you can add A and C, A plus C, and that will result in the vector which is coming in the opposite direction, which is equal to the vector B. So what am I getting here? Vector A plus vector C is equal to vector B, and this is called by the name the triangle law of vector addition. What is this called as? The triangle law of vector addition. Clear? So what is triangle of vector addition? If you have three vectors which form an enclosed triangle, then the sum of two vectors which are in the same direction will be equal to the vector which is coming in the opposite one. Clear? So if I have a triangle like this, I am writing it as A, B, C, and I have one direction over here, and this is the opposite one, okay. So now which all vectors are in the same direction going on here? You can see that the vectors AB is going here, yes, AB is there. So AB is moving in this direction, then BC also is going in the same direction, yes, so BC. So AB plus BC will give you the result, AB plus BC will give you the result what? Which vector is going in this direction? AC, yes. So AB plus BC will be equal to AC, and this is according to which law? The triangle law of vector addition. Now look here, AC I can also write, maybe I can also write AB plus BC is equal to what? Is the direction from this one. If I take this as the direction, is that CA? Yes. So if I write CA, then it is the opposite direction of AC. So what you have to put? You have to put a negative. So in that case, if I take this minus CA to the left side, I will be getting AB plus BC plus CA is equal to 0. So this gives us the triangle law of vector addition. Clear? Understood the triangle law of vector addition? Okay. Now if I take two vectors, suppose if I am taking a vector and another vector. So if I have two vectors, that is one is A, this is A, and this is B, then the resultant of these two vectors will be the diagonal, that if I join like this, I will get a diagonal. Yes. So this diagonal, if I complete this whole diagram, I will be getting, am I getting a parallelogram? Yes. So I am getting a parallelogram over here, right? So this A and B when added together will give us the output, that is C, that is the diagonal. This is according to a parallelogram. So if you have, when A and B are the what sides? Adjacent sides. A and B are the adjacent sides of a parallelogram. A and B are the adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Then the resultant, what is the resultant? Then the resultant is nothing but the diagonal vector. The resultant is nothing but the diagonal vector. So here it is A, here it is B, the resultant will be C. So A plus B is equal to what? C. Understood? Now how to prove this, or if somebody asks you how am I getting this? So in that case what you do, we know that the adjacent sides of a, not the adjacent sides, we know that the opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. So if I take this as B, is this also going to be B vector? Yes, that is also B. Now is B and A traveling in the same direction like this? Yes. Is C coming from the opposite direction? Yes. Now is this a triangle formed there? Yes. So inside that parallelogram, are you getting a triangle, or a triangle of vector addition can be applied there? Yes. According to the triangle law of vector addition, if I apply that, will I get a plus b is equal to c? Yes. So that is how I am getting that, which law? The new law, which is called as the parallelogram law of vector addition. What is it called as? The parallelogram law of vector addition. So these are the two important laws that we have to study in vector addition. So one is the triangle law, where you have two sides of a triangle which are in the same direction, or which are moving in the same direction, two vectors. Then the resultant will be the vector coming in the opposite direction. Clear? And according to the parallelogram law of vector addition, if the two vectors are represented by the adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then the diagonal will be the resultant of it. Understood? Yeah, so that is about this session where we have studied vector addition. More in the upcoming classes. Stay tuned.
Manorama Horizon, learning made simple.